A collective being named Neo. A being named Neo lived with limitations of shame and guilt of his past until he realized that each night when he goes to sleep, he dies. Each morning a new being named Neo is born again into the world, into his body, into his life circumstances, with a physical brain hardwired with all the other's memories as if they were his own actions. Inheriting a brain full of all of the other's memories and depressed feelings of guilt and shame, grief and loss, and anxious feelings from trauma, from abuse and neglect no longer mattered. He realized that he actually always knew this. It is what caused Neo to get as much pleasure as he could in his 24 hours, with total disregard for the consequences, as the next guy would have to deal with all those. He would stay up late in a party and pleasure, and sometimes staying up for days in order to live longer. Sleep would finally overtake him, and the next Neo's one-day life would be in sickness, tired, hunger, and misery. What would stop that day's Neo's from drinking in all the pleasure that he could? He would pickle his brain with pornography, as the tingles and sensations of pleasures for the moment was the highest priority, not the permanent repercussions of destructive images that now hardwired his brain for this body's future inhabitants. He would do the same with substances, relationships, any immoral or criminal behaviors. What did he care about the outcome, as another would be the one sitting in jail? Naturally, Neo's life circumstances destructed into daily homelessness, poverty, isolation, and misery. Stealing now for food became the daily mission, access to the extreme pleasures now denied by his dwindling circumstances. No income, no family, no home, no purpose. Day after day, even now the basics of needs of water, food, shelter would be at a loss. Pain brought Neo to a place that he would receive a new revelation, inheriting a brain full of all others' memories and depressed feelings of guilt and shame, grief and loss, and anxious feelings from trauma, from abuse and neglect now mattered. While he was still free from the past as a new man, he now had a great desire to make things better for the next. This motivation is love. He accepted that love equals demonstrated sacrifice. Now each day, the being named Neo would sacrifice the opportunities for pleasure and instead delay gratification so that he would have more joy. He went to school and improved his life circumstances. There were many days that Neo had no fun at all, worked and studied to get information into his brain so that another Neo would would pass a test, and another would get a career, income, and support a family. Days, whole lives were sacrificed for the good of future beings that would inhabit this body and use this brain. After 100 years, the body of the being named Neo died, and all the souls that inhabited it met in the afterlife. The sole meaning and contribution of the collective life was celebrated. None were left out. If it wasn't for the selfish actions of some, the revelation would not have came that righted this life. Mistakes were made and benefited from the whole. All joined as one and went into the adventure of eternity.